Hey, hi everyone, how are you? I hope you all guys are doing great. So in the previous video, we have seen vector databases. Now in this video, we are going to continue with RAG.
We begin, let me introduce to a platform that I have created, a web app, which is called Asolulu.fun, a collection of free fun tech games that completely free to play on mobile, tablet, or desktop. Give it a try and stay tuned. I will be adding many more games in future, and definitely you can see it in also demo. It's pretty fun and pretty good to play. And while playing, you can learn a lot of different concepts, be it Python, Agentic fundamentals, and a lot of different things. I'm going to add even for Kafka and all. I'm going to add this game so that it can be really helpful for you. Please give it a try. And now let's jump directly into the video.
So imagine you ask an AI assistant like how many vacation days do employees get? The previous question that we were dealing in the previous video. But this information exists only inside your company's HR document. So the LLM was not trained on that private document because mostly LLM are trained on the public document. So HR documents, HR policies of your company, LLM will never know. Okay. So how it can answer it correctly? So there are two things. We could retrain the entire model, but that would be expensive, slow, and unnecessary. So instead, we do something like RAG. So think of it like um, the model is already having its brain. So instead creating the brain again, we somehow provide some external information to it in the forms of document or something else. So this is the whole concept. Okay, so RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. So there are some retrieval, then some augmentation, and then generation. Okay, so the name sounds complicated, but the idea is simple. First, we retrieve the relevant document, then we give that information to the LLM so that it can generate the answer. Like in the previous video, if you remember in the demo, sorry, let me grab it. So we retrieve some documents, but we cannot send this directly retrieve document or retrieve text to the end user. We need to send it to LLM to validate, to generate some answer. Okay, so this is the whole logic. Okay, so let's suppose user asks a question, we convert that question into embedding, and because in vector DB we store the text as well as vector, so to have apple to apple comparison, we should have a vector. So that's why user question is first converted into vector, and then we compare cosine similarity or any kind of similarity with the stored vector to find relevant text. So it retrieves the relevant text, we pass it to prompt, and then we send everything to the LLM. What is prompt and what is prompt engineering, we are going to see in the next video, but you can just think like prompt is just some instruction in any natural language. It can be English or anything. Okay, so it can so add text to the prompt, send everything to the LLM, and just generate the answer. This is the simplest RAG. Okay, nothing else. Okay, there are a lot of things in RAG, but this is how the basic RAG looks like. So you can see RAG does not permanently teach the model, but this is an important distinction. Okay, RAG does not update the model's internal knowledge. The retrieve information is temporarily added to the current prompt. Once that request is complete, the model has not permanently memorize the document. Okay, so RAG is better understood as given the model an open book reference before it answers. Okay, so let's see the demo, I guess. Okay, for RAG also, because these are very simple things. Okay, you don't have to worry a lot on theories and all. So this definitely this will be available in the description box. I will add it. Okay, so definitely we are using ChromaDB because in the previous video also we have used vector database as ChromaDB. Okay, then we have used transformers to use some models and all. Okay, so first of all, it's a simple thing. I'm not going to repeat because we are going to store the documents. We have to chunk it, and it has stored 8 documents. This is how it looks like. So we have 8 documents and it's vector. So previously we have seen how in vector DB we store vectors as well as text. Okay, this is a huge misconception that vector DB only store vectors. Okay, Then whenever the user will ask a question like how many vaccines do I get, it will be passed to embedding model and we will create a query. Okay, so here you can see like how many vacation days do I get. So we got a vector as 0.05 something like this. Okay, it is 384 dimensions. Okay, so now we have stored vectors, and in input also we have vectors, so we will compare each vector. So vector to vector comparison, and we will find who is more similar. Okay, so now we will search the vector db with this vector like query vector. Okay, so you can just go through this code and all. Okay, like this is the question and we are trying to find the top three. Okay, so that's why if you want more, generally we call it as top k, like top three, top two, how many results you want. Okay, so how many vacations do I get? So we got three answers, full time, this one three, and their scores also. That we already seen it. Okay, so that's why I'm not repeating. It's just the way we saw in the previous video where we have already found the closest three documents. Okay, and already I have mentioned that maybe the first document can also be wrong. Okay, but because vector, when you search something in vector db, it doesn't guarantee that the first thing or the derived documents will be always containing the answer, because they are trying to find semantically similar. That's why they give scores to distinct. Okay, so now like this one, so all three we will pass it to the final answer. Okay, so not final answer, we will build the prompt. Okay, like whatever, like this is the context, this is the question, and we will get the prompt. Okay, so whatever they will get from this thing. Okay, so you this is the prompt, like use the following context to answer the question. If the context does not, this is this context and question. So context is what we got from here: full-time employee, employee received 10. So this is the context, and question, we already passed the question. This is the question, this one, how many vacations do I get. Okay, so we have created a prompt, you can say a text to ask to LLM, and then we give it to LLM. In this I'm using Quen model. You can use anything, OpenAI, Anthropic, any model. Okay, this is how we call the LLM. We have the rules and all. Okay, so it's very easy to learn, like how a system prompt, how we have system prompt, how we have role, content and all. Okay, and then we call the LLM to max tokens and all are very basic things. Okay, then we ask the LLM and we get the answer, like how many vacations do I get. So it says 20 paid vacations days per year. Okay, so if you see, the retrieved document was saying full-time employees receive 20 paid vacations days per year. Okay, so you cannot send this to user. That it's fine. If someone asks you question like how many vacations do I get, you can also say like, okay, full-time employees receive 20 paid vacations days per year. That's also fine. But this is much better to say like 20 paid vacation days per year. Okay, and sometimes even some reasonings are also there. So that's why LLM plays a major role to generate some response from whatever we have retrieved from the vector DB. And I'm just asking you something, like if you don't know about what LL, like the syntax and all, like how we are loading this model, what is max length, max tokens, why we are doing this and this, why we are striping. If you want this also, I can create a video for it, but I think these are the very basic things that you can just go to their website and see, like how we make a call to OpenAI models and all. Okay, so that's why I'm not focusing more on it. Okay, so, and this is the whole pipeline in one function. Let's suppose we created a RAG function. So, and let's suppose we want top three results and we pass a question. So it will just get the documents. It will break into, I can say, into multiple documents. Sorry, what is happening? Okay, and then just you can call this function. Okay, so that's it, I guess. Okay. So it's just we are embedding the question in search, then we are building the prompt, and then we are just calling that ask LM. Okay, whatever we have created. Okay, you can just go through this notebook. It's very simple. Okay. So what each part does, embedding model basically converts text into vectors. Vector DB basically it finds stores as well as finds the relevant text. Retriever is basically selects the best matching chunks. Okay, and then prompt is basically which combines the context and the question, and LM reads the context and generates the answer. That's all. Okay, and definitely this is not everything about RAG. Definitely there are a lot of things in RAG because RAG has been evolved a lot that we are going to unwrap slowly in this series. Okay, so now we understand the simplest version of RAG, but real documents can contain hundreds or thousands of pages. So several new questions appear like how large should each text chunk be? How many chunks should we retrieve? What happens when similarity search returns the wrong information? And how do production RAG system improves the quality of retrieval? So these are some advanced RAG topics, but before exploring them, we should first understand a very important skill, I can say, like how do we clearly instruct an LLM to behave and produce the result we need, which is known as prompt engineering. So in the next video, we are going to see prompt engineering, and we will see some techniques and all. Okay, I guess that's it. So if you have any doubt in this video, let me know in the comment section. If you have any suggestions or something, it's always welcome. So that's all. Like, if you like this video, just give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. That's all. Thank you. Have a great day.